going to make another LED sign. Uh, has to do with my heart condition, and I just thought it was funny to do, so I figured I'd take you guys along with me. When I make these, I make them for these bases. So what you have to do is you have to measure. We don't care how wide it is, but we need to know how long it is, and this just so happens to have the measurement here, and we need to know how deep it is from this top surface here to the top of these LED lights. And that's what's going to shine up through the acrylic and shine through the design. Now I use drag engravers. I make my own, and they look something like, let's see, where's it at? This right here. I made this one for a member of a CNC group I belong to on Facebook. Sent it to him in Australia. It's made for I think it's either 8 or 10 millimeter collet for a spindle, and these do not spin. They drag. They have a diamond tip right here on the end. So enough of show and tell. Let's get on to it. So this is one I just recently completed for a friend of mine's shop, his tattoo shop. And I like to use the same file over and over and over because I make little notes. So, hey idiot, did you mirror it? As you can see, this is backwards because I'm engraving it on the back side of the acrylic. And you look at the front side, which is smooth. And here's my measurements for the slot in it. So I can actually just take all of this and make this go away. Just throw it over here. And I have tool paths that I know work. That's why I use the same file over and over and over. Now you can create these tool paths and then save them as templates. I just use the whole file as a template. And I have to remember that my recording software, I can not press F9 to center. Otherwise it stops. It's a hotkey to stop the recording. But I have the design I want to do already in another tab. So all I'm going to do over here, which you can't see, is I'm going to draw a box around everything. Everything is pink. I'm going to right click. I'm going to go copy. Then I'm going to come over here. I'm going to right click and I'm going to paste. So there it is. That's what I want to do. Now I just cut this one and I have the piece of material which is 12 inches by 12 inches on my machine, and I know I have 7 inches of space to work with. So we're going to make this small down here. And I am going to come back over to my other file. I got a 7 by 7 inch square. Copy. Come over here to this one. Right click and paste. And it should be up here. So seeing as I can't center anything, I'm just going to use the center dot. Move it in. And here we have that. Now let's take this. Click on it. I have a center dot. And I'm going to snap it into position there. Then I'm going to resize it. That's the one I want. And that looks pretty decent. I'm not going to make it the 7 by 7. I'm going to play around and just do what I think is best. Alright, so we're going to go, let's see how big this actually is right here. T for transform. Alright, so pretty close to what I want. I'm going to take this guy, I'm going to copy, then I'm going to paste one on top of the other. Drag this to the center here, down arrow button. And the reason why I'm going lower is because I want to have these angles come up from the base so the light can transmit through it. So I'll end up, whenever I decide on my final outside edge, I will have this come up. And I want to take this and let's put some fillets on the edges. 2 inches is going to be too big, so let's just see what 1 inch gives us. Put it on the corner. That's not terrible. Then I want to make this. I want to have this as a border inside here as well to be engraved. So we're going to offset it. We're going to go inward. See what 1 inch looks like. That's too small. So Control Z to undo. We are going to go 0.25 offset. Perfect. I think we can live with that. My sister's text messaging me. So now we can bring this up a little bit and create a line from here to here. And I like where that's going. We can do it again, or we can just mirror it over. I'm thinking, press N for node, I'm thinking we probably want to come up a little further. Say to right there. So I am going to put a line straight down the middle. And we can delete this one. I'm going to click on this line and my center line. And we are going to mirror that. Flip about line. So now we have a copy over there. And then we can trim this out, this out. We don't need that line, don't need that line. This line can stay there. We just need to make sure that all of this stuff is connected. So by trimming it, you can see that it's all connected. So there's my border, and this is the inside of what I'm wanting to engrave. And this heart here, what I want to do is I want to go Control C, and I'm going to grab another layer. Let's add a layer. We're going to change its color to green. And then paste. So now I have layer on top of layer. Let's turn off some of these layers so I know what I'm working on. Right click, make sure that's activated. And let's go get this. Cut. And there's always several different ways to do this. We can turn that layer off and paste. The reason why I want to do that is instead of doing a full star like my original design drawing, I want to do half a star. So I am going to split that right down the middle, trim that. This should be all one line, perfect. Now we go back to my layers and let's turn this on. So now it's nothing more than creating toolpaths, and I have several toolpaths over here, but I only need two. So I am going to delete this one and delete that one. So this one here is just a drag engraving, just an outline. So I am going to take all of this and this. We're not even going to touch this inner line here. And we're going to calculate. Perfect. And close that. And if I want, I can come over here and rename this to be infill. So we can turn that toolpath off, double click this, and I want to fill in those, that line, these words, and this half of the star. And calculate and close. And what I want to show here real quick is these have the same parameters. I am using this drag engraver, and if we edit it, here's all my parameters for that bit. It does not turn on, so spindle speed doesn't matter. And and another thing is I'm doing 30 thousandths depth or pressure, and that just basically pushes the spring-loaded bit down into the materials, so there's pressure there so it can scratch. And this one is the exact same thing, so it's the exact same tool. And that's the infill, so we're going to infill that 45-degree angle, so it's going to fill all those in, calculate, there we go, close, and then go back to my 2D. Here's the profile. I'm going to use a downcut 125 thousandths or 1/8 inch bit. Edit the passes. I want 4 passes. I'm doing a 200 thousandths lead in, so it basically, when it comes in to cut, it's going to go back and forth as it's going down. When it gets to the depth of this, it's going to go all the way around. Then it's going to come over, start again, go all the way around, go all the way around. And this one is going to turn on. Here are the parameters for that tool. I'm doing 100 thou depth per pass, but in the edit parameters, we can see that instead it's only doing 32 thou depth. So that's going to be the depth of cut each time it goes around. Feed rate's 1,000 millimeters a minute, and I'm doing 12,000 RPM on my spindle. My spindle, I do not have the VFD adjusted to where it gets its RPM from this. It's got a knob on it. I just kind of adjust it on the knob, but it's right at about 12,000, maybe just a little over. So we calculate that. It's telling us it's going to go all the way through because I have it going 129 thousandths deep instead of 125. And we can see that this is here because that toolpath, the profile, was originally created for this other project. So we'll turn that off. We'll double click this. We're going to tell it now we want it to go to this because I didn't do that before. It's complaining about the tabs because I have tabs set up on that other profile, but I'm not using them on this right now, just to get a simulation. So this is going to go on clear acrylic, and I use a blue color. Then I use the toolpath as white or yellowish just to give me some contrast. But let's go ahead and preview all. I can double click on that, make it go away. Now this looks really wide because I have it set up as a cutting tool, but it's going to be very, very fine lines because of that point on the diamond. This is just to give me an idea of what it's going to look like. All right, I like all of that, so we're going to reset preview. And if I wanted to get a better idea of what it would look like, I can come up here and go 05, so 5 thousandths deep. And then 05. And preview all. So now you can see it's a lot cleaner. But I like the 30 thousandths deep because that's pressure that it's going to put on the tool. So let's go ahead and change that back. And reset the preview. Now on this one I want tabs. So let's go ahead and edit those. I'm going to put, I always put tabs on straight, or if it's the outside profile has an arc, kind of like, let's turn these layers back on. You know, like this has got a radius to it. I always put them on the furthest outside edge away from any other detail so they're easier to sand off and remove. So let's slap one there, slap one there. Actually, I want to put one here, one here. Let's remove that. And we'll put one down here, one down here. So I'm not going to put any tabs on this piece down here. Close. And if we preview all the toolpaths now, you'll see that my tabs are right in here. I can't double click this anymore because the two pieces of material are joined with the tab. And if you're curious, I'm doing 3D tabs, 200 thousandths long and 40 thousandths thick. So that's that. And if you notice, one thing I did not do is, did I mirror it? I did not do that. So I have to come over here, grab everything in the middle. Let's go to the drawing, mirror selected, and we can click this line, undo, create a mirrored copy, flip about line. Now everything is mirrored. All I have to do now is just recalculate these toolpaths. And that's it. This is ready, set up to go to the machine. So if I'm going to save these, I'm going to check both of these. Since it's using the same tool, I can save these under one file. Just drag and grave. Post processor, I've got to come down here to Mach 3, but let's maybe it's because of the post processor. I need the Mach 3. I don't need the ATC. Well, where's it at now? It's weird that it lost all its settings. The wraps are for rotary, Mach 3 arcs, millimeters. That's what I want right there. As if we do that, visible tool to one file, so both of these. It's going to do the quick engrave first, so it's going to go and outline everything. And then it's going to come in and do the infill and door crosshatches. Then I save it, and these are ready to go to the machine. I think that's going to conclude this. I'll probably do a part 2 of when I actually set the machine up and get the material in there and show you how I set up the tooling. Hope this helps somebody out there.